Hi everyone on YouTube. I hope you're having a good day. I know I'm struggling, but I'm doing what I can do to get by at these difficult times. But I am here to share with you a video of things that I have been trying to do differently. And this reminds me that after I get done with this video, I'm going to be going to do on um doing a few things that I have to write down for my appointment tomorrow. And one of the things that I want you to know is that I have a problem in life where I take what everybody says about me and try to please them and giving them what they want instead of the things that I need so I can function in life. I don't have clear boundary settings. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to respond in conflict with others. But one thing I have started to learn about the life of a disabled person accepting the care that I need. And one of the things that I have benefited from was having support groups on Facebook to go to for help, learning from what others talk about who live with the disabilities I live with, and also go into speech and OT and other therapies, and have a wonderful friend that I still talk to and deal with it. His name is Doug, and I still am his friend, and he no longer works at the Independent Living Center. He retired. Happy for him. But he is thinking about coming out of retirement to be able to go back to work part-time somewhere. He hasn't decided where. But the reason why I'm making this video is I have problems interacting with others. Conflict resolution and that kind of stuff. And I've see where sometimes one doctor may mistaken me with this being a personality disorder. Another may say, oh, this is psychotic. Another would say this is a mood disorder. Another may say this is neurodevelopmental. Today it has been all neurodevelopmental issues, not mental health issues or personality issues. So I have that consistency for the last 10 years of my diagnosis. In New York State, it was not accepted. In Pennsylvania, it is accepted. In Ohio, it was accepted. But I am moving in the right direction to better my life. One of the things that I have a hard time with that people use the way I respond to it as a way to say I didn't get what I wanted. I didn't hear what I wanted to hear. I didn't like what they said. I'm trying to control what they do and say to get my way. And that's not how I see things, and that's not how my professionals who evaluate me and work with me on a weekly basis sees it. An example of that would be my service coordinator. I like her a lot. She understands autism. She knows She has a lot of experience in it, but I want to first give you something because I have something more than just autism. I have a condition um called auditory processing disorder. That's a subpart of my autism. Okay, I was born with it. And I want to be able to show you something. So, United States Senator John Fetterman had a heart condition that caused a stroke. Okay? And what? Oh, wait, that's something new. He has more issues with his heart. I'm trying to. Oh no, he's not doing good. That makes me sad. You know why? Because he shares the same condition as I do. Okay, so here we go. After he had his stroke, he developed a condition called central auditory processing disorder. The United States has a federal law regulation that there are no cell phones, electronics, tablets, computers at all to be used in the Senate chambers. The Americans with Disabilities Act puts reasonable accommodations where they have to make change to policy to accept him and for him to do his job as if he did not have a disability. So he has what's called a closed captioning device. It's very easy to get one. You get it for free on your phone. All you do is download the Google Transcribe app or Live Transcribe app. Okay? And you have exactly what you can use when watching videos, when having a conversation with someone. Yes, and that is what I use as well. I have a hard time reading and listening at the same time. So there is a different approach that someone else has to do with me. Of course, he's able to read. I'm thinking he can. Sometimes stroke patients need to relearn to do things, but it didn't affect his thinking or communication, just his processing what is being said. But I, on the other hand, need people to talk to me in short and simple sentences. Use direct language and don't sugarcoat it. Speak slowly. Speak one thing at a time. Okay, I see on YouTube another step in processing and communicating that will help people like myself be able to interact with them better. I've been asking people to please remind me to deep breathe before I respond to you. And allow me to use this time to process what is being said, slow down my train of thought, and help me plan what I want to say. I may benefit from using an AAC device because that's exactly what helps me. Because I use my AAC device, and my speech therapist says that it helps me slow down my train of thought and plan what I want to say, and I'm more organized to what I'm trying to tell people. That is what could use my help in telling you what things in this video, because it could have been 5 minutes instead of 10 minutes of me explaining. So, I will show you that in another video. Of course, it will take time for me to type my response to speak, unless it's programmed in my AAC device, which is what I am planning on doing in a few minutes, is pre-programming sentences that I have to say tomorrow to my new doctor. Yes, I have a mental health assessment to help me speed up the process and to help me talk things out and to see what they think. Even though I was a battle trying to get one. So, I've asked people to help me with that. And I gave a clear example of what to do. And I use an example of this, and I will tell you this. That my caregivers did not do this with me. And it's where they have to. Okay? So, I used an example of a conversation, and I'll repeat the conversation that I actually had with the caregiver of mine. And I want you to know that it's going to be a one-sided conversation. And here is what was said. Okay? Actually, you know what? I realized I did not put that in there. The whole conversation. Okay, well, here, I'll just read the word caregiver. Andrew, do not respond to emails from other people. Let me respond for you. Oh, hang on. Then you come to me and I can help you with that. Andrew, do not answer the phone. If someone calls you, give them my name and phone number. These things that make you upset. You don't listen after responding to emails and answering your phone. You get mad at us when we ask you to wipe yourself and shower yourself. Your dad wants us to have you do these things yourself. We don't go off what your doctors say. We go off what we know you can do. That is what I am saying. Again, you are not listening to what I'm saying. Okay, I gave you a conversation, an example. Okay, well, if I had more supervision, they would know I'm responding to an email or asking someone for help or advice. So they would have known that and had reminded me, but I needed that reminder. But this is just an example. I can repeat to you what I was told, but I can't do what they wanted me to do, which caused me issues. If my caregiver reminded me every single time, Andy, give me the email to respond, Andy, give me the phone to be able to help you communicate your needs, I would have had way less issues. But then Comfort Care got in trouble for doing that with me. Because they're not allowed to do that. They're not power of attorney or guardian. See, that's where one of the problems caused them to discharge me. because they were afraid of liability of things that I needed help with that they saw me needing help with doing. And this is where I use an example of this one conversation I had with a caregiver named Quan. If he did one sentence at a time, spoke slowly, short, direct sentences, I would have been able to respond better to his conversation. Here's an example of that conversation. Okay, example of one step at a time, short and direct language. Caregiver. What do I do? Or hang on, Andy, this is me saying, what do I do when I'm asking for help with the things I need and want to do? Caregiver. Oh, you know what? That didn't make sense to the conversation. That was something different. Okay. Caregiver. Then caregiver says to me, comes in my room, sees me on the computer emailing. Andrew, hang on, I'm sorry. Andrew, do not respond to emails from other people. Let me respond. Andy, what do I do when I'm asking for help with the things I need help with and want to do? Then you come to me and I can help you with that. Meaning there's supposed to be able to help me write my email and asking for the help that I need help with. Andy, but you didn't help me with asking for full ID or set up my doctor's appointments yet. So that gives me one step at a time to respond to one point at a time. They want me to go to them to make the emails and ask them to make the phone calls and appointments for me. I need their help, but they weren't doing that to help me with those things that I need. Okay. Andrew, do not answer the phone. If someone calls you, give them my name and phone number. See how I paused between parts of one sentence? One step at a time. That allows me to process what you are telling me. I do, but they tell me that you don't have a voicemail set up. These are things that make you upset. You don't listen after responding to emails and your phone. You get mad at us when we ask you to wipe yourself and shower you. I need this help. I say. They say, your dad wants us to have you do these things yourself. And I said, my doctor said I need this help. I asked my occupational therapist to write down what I need help with and asked my doctor to sign off on this. It was also in my care plan that I need that help. I need this help. Caregiver, we don't go off of what your doctor says. We go off of what we know you can do. But you are saying I don't need this help. They say, that is not what I'm saying. I say, it is what you said, though. They say, again, you are not listening to what I'm saying. So they're telling me I don't need help wiping or showering. But yet, why do they still come in to wipe me even after I said I think I got it all on my own at some times, and I said I didn't need help with it? They said I still have to wipe you. And they still found poop on me. I had way less skin rashes because of that help. So why did they try saying that Dad wants me to do that? Yes, he said that. But see how the conversation is slow paced? You're not just rambling on different points, and then I'm already lost and forgot about what you just said and only remember the very last few words you said to me. That is where I have the behavior issues. If I had somebody to help me, which is, by the way, a law under the Americans with Disabilities Act, where healthcare providers have to accommodate people with disabilities. I would not have these issues with people. When they say, Andy, why are you getting frustrated with asking what, by explaining to him, yeah, you need help making a decision for what to eat for dinner. I said, I've asked him for that help. He doesn't want to help me. He tells me that I don't know what you want to eat and I can't be a mind reader. And I responded with, but there are sometimes people who need help, and that is sometimes that I need this help, and I'm asking you to please just help me. Because my caregivers did not buy food that I would not eat or did not like. Do you see where I'm coming from on this point? So, I now have a set of examples that help me be able to regulate and not get upset with my caregivers because they saw me needing this help and they changed the way they communicated with me. They also was very inconsistent in this accommodation. Because one day they would do this with me, but not the next. Or maybe they'll do it one time in the first part of the day, but not next. Or they'll do this only after I have a behavior issue on that day. So it was never a all the time thing, and I had an up and down experience. Even though this has been said by my doctors, by my speech therapist, by my service and support coordinator, and in my care plan. So this is why I need somebody to help me take a deep breath, process what you're telling me, and then respond. I feel that using my AAC device, I'm better organized. I can see what I am trying to tell people, not just be able to think it in my head and get it out. And then sometimes I may say something totally different than what I'm meaning, and this way it helps me be able to avoid being misunderstood. And that's why I need people to please help me be able to communicate with what I actually mean. It has happened so many times where my doctor would actually make a statement in my record that I didn't mean any of the things that I had told him, that he misunderstood me saying. But then my service coordinator emails me, did you tell your doctor that you had bed bugs? I told her, yes. And I told him what I was told. And even named the person who told me that we have bed bugs. And shared a picture with him of what the person took a picture of. So this is where I was being honest with my doctor. And that is why I can't go back to speech an occupational therapy for until I get documentation for a exterminator thing. But the problem is, Royal is refusing me that documentation because I'm no longer under the care of Royal. But they have to because I'm paying rent here. So this is where I'm bringing this up to you because it has delayed me getting the dedicated device, because once I get a dedicated device, I am cutting out my internet access. And yes, that device has to have internet at once every month, but mandatory on the first time I open it up, because it requires the internet to set it up, download the app, and install the updates and get it up and running. That is required, and that's okay. Because if I don't have internet where I'm at, I could always go to Burger King or this restaurant or that restaurant and use the Wi-Fi there. So that is where I'm telling you the things that I'm working on to try to better help me with my everyday life so I have less issues. There's a few other things I've been working on. And one of the other things I'm working on is telling people what I need help with. Okay, an example of this. I am not going to tell you the agency name because I am trying not to. I'll just say, Comfort Care, just so I don't accidentally screw things up. Comfort Care came out today, and they told me that they need to talk to so and so before she could put care in place. She asked me if I'm capable of taking care of myself if a caregiver isn't able to because of a call-off. And I told her the truth. No. And gave her exact reasons why. I can't cope with the change. I need constant redirection and supervision. I need help with my medications, toileting, wiping, hygiene, and personal care and safety. And I explained to her that was my issue. So the last 2 weeks, or the last 4 weeks, I would say, of my care with Comfort Care, I was being honest with her. I told her what I needed help with and what I wanted them to do, which is everything in that plan was what they can do for me. Wipe me, wash me, change me, help me tie my pants, help me communicate with the doctors and setting up my appointments and going out in the community and reminding me of my medicine. She asked me yes/no questions about additional information about my medications. She said, well, we got to get a nurse involved to help you with things for about at least every other day to check on you for your medications. And then I explained to her the things that I have been doing, hiding the fact that I need all this help from people, and I explained to her why. Because I'm afraid that if I tell people I need all this help, I'm not going to get that help. And she's told me that is what I need to tell people. Because if I don't tell people what I need help with, then they cannot get those things and provide me that help. And then when that help isn't being provided, I have behavior issues that I can't handle, and then I'm wondering why did everybody get mad at me. And then it causes me to feel bad, and then depressed and frustrated and everything. So she told me that she would not be able to help me and told me that I could get their agency to help me, but I would need to have the OPD waiver. So I explained that, and my service coordinator tells me, did she give you a phone number to call for help? And I did not read that properly, and the answer would be no. She never gave me any phone number. She was just going to talk to you and Tyler and get back to me. Because she would only be able to provide me services if I was going to get the OPD waiver sooner rather than later. And she and my service coordinator responded to me telling me that this is what happens when you tell people that they can't help you because it becomes a liability. Yes, you need more help, but to help you, at least some help is better than no help. I've told that to the agency that came out, and I asked her, please help me. I need some help. But it becomes a liability, and here's why. Because I spoke to an attorney about this. Okay? Again, I'm getting advice from knowledgeable experts in this area. So not only am I come up with a plan where they're going to do the things that I cannot do on my own, such as washing my privates, my butt, my feet, toes, and my back, and I'll do the rest of my body. I'll do the setup of my shower. I will have them help me dry off completely down in the land below and help me put on my diaper. And then I'll get dressed and then have them tie my pants. I'll do that. That's what I've been doing with my caregivers. The problem becomes I need consistency in that. And this is where I had told my dad, hey Dad, I'm going to have them do all this stuff. They're not going to be sleeping on the overnight and this and that. And he's saying, well, you're being demanding and saying that they can't do anything other than just take care of you and give you attention. I said, Dad, that's their job to take care of me, and they get paid for doing that. And I've been told by my service coordinator, by telling what was happening, instead of telling people or not telling people what was going on that caused me the behavior issues, is what needed to happen. I needed to tell somebody so that way that they can get involved and say, hey, you're wiping him, finding poop on him, and then you're telling other caregivers that he doesn't need that help and he gets all cleaned up himself, and then they don't help him, and then I have behavior issues. That's what needs to be done, and that's basically what I was told. That if I don't explain to them this stuff, they're going to keep doing it. And I told my service coordinator that I told Brienne this. I told Brienne's supervisor this. Brienne's the supervisor of Comfort Care. And then I told her supervisor. And they ignored it. They kept on saying that I don't need the help because all the staff been saying I don't need it. I clean up on my own. I said to them, why do they say I need them to wipe me for if and they still find me with poop on me and urine, and that's why I'm confused by this. Because if I can do it on my own, that's sexual abuse. Because they're forcing me to help. Either way, I'm okay with them wiping me and washing me. So I know I need that help. And that is a safe touch. But I, just because I need that help and I'm okay with them doing it, and knowing it's a safe touch because it's medically needed, does not mean I want that or I like that. And that's where I want to set boundaries with people on the internet. And I'm going to just ignore what you say and lie about it being a sexual fetish and I want women to change me and I get off on it. You're just disgusting. And you're a perv. And you need to get out of my business and life on that. But I will just back up to this here. That my problem starts with I don't have boundaries with people. I let people do things even though they're not supposed to do certain things. And because of that, it gives them the feeling that they can do this stuff to me and get away with it. So I have a plan in place that I made with brand supervisor who gave me feedback on things to go into my next care agency, my friend Doug Usiak, and I went to AI to learn more. And I made a plan with all of that information where I could give complete control over the things I cannot do for myself or the things I can partially do on my own. Now, when this other agency came out, seeing that I had no caregivers for 3 weeks, she asked me how can I be independent while I get by, and I told her no. And I explained to her why not. I've been wondering. I get confused when that happens. I get frustrated. I hit my head. There's been unpredictable thunderstorms because even when we were not supposed to have thunderstorms, there happened to be thunder around. This past 2 weeks, the weather's been really weird like that, and so on and so forth. And I explained to her those things. And I explained to her I have bad rash because of it. Look at my bed and it smells. It's full of piss and shit because I don't have anyone to help me with my bed protectors and stuff. And she explained to me, thank you. I cannot help you because you do need the 24-hour help because not only are you authorized for it, but your doctors say you're not to be unsupervised, and you're telling me the things that you need help with. I'm just not able to guarantee you around-the-clock care if a caregiver calls off. I can't be liable for that. That's what I'm being told by people. And that's why I need to be put in a group home, because a nursing home is not appropriate care for me. My own doctor even said that. So now I'm asking for a group home. I'm trying to do the things I need to do to get by. I'm struggling doing it. I've not been on my medicine. I've not been able to wash myself or wipe myself properly. I've fallen when I tried doing my laundry going down in the basement. Now, I had an empty laundry basket I was carrying upstairs to get more dirty laundry to take back downstairs, and that's where I fell and lost balance. I had problems with that, and that's part of the vestibular system and proprioceptive sensory system that I have been working on. And speaking of that, because I have to get... Okay, I will show you this another time. So I have a vibrator, okay, that I use for my legs. That includes my toes, my ankles, my knee, my thigh, my hips. Okay, that helps me be able to feel the floor better. That is a proven treatment for proprioceptive sensory issues where I have difficulty finding things in space around me. Another guaranteed proven treatment for that is also called spatial, I forgot what it's called. You stand in front of a computer and you keep your eyes straight in the center, and you go tapping the things in around the that you are supposed to. They have different things. They got by color, by shape, by letter, by number. And they saw I have problems with all the things except for when they are by color. So when they're actually a small, medium-sized dot color that I go tapping. And I have trouble touching that spot without actually going to look at that spot. And I have been working on that, and that helps with the proprioceptive and vestibular. Now you guys see why it's hard for me to cut an apple, why I get burned a lot, why I have trouble putting a pan in the oven, why I have trouble crossing a street, why I have trouble washing my body, because that also affects my balance. On top of that, I also have problems with my vestibular system, which causes me problems with balance when reaching and bending to wash my body. This is not only with my washing my body and taking a shower or wiping after I go to the bathroom, but this also affects my ability to get dressed. It affects my ability to cross the street. It affects my ability to play sports because I could not control my body to do simple movements. I had trouble catching and throwing. I have trouble on stairs, riding a bike. It affects every life domain pretty much. Now I have one more thing I want to tell you. I found my therapy book and I've been doing the interoceptive sensory training. You know, one of the things I've been working on is before I eat, I have to think about what I feel in my stomach. After I eat, I have to then feel if I feel different or not. I've been doing that even without my book. And I have a real hard time knowing if I'm full or if I'm not. But I have mistaken signs of being hunger. Example, when my stomach bubbles and I go eating and it doesn't fix that problem. So that makes it harder for me. And that is also one of the things that causes me problems with my bowel and bladder control. So when I have multiple areas of functioning issues, of multiple senses bothering me, to cause interference with my day-to-day life, I just named you the processing issues of visual, auditory, the problems with tactile, the problems with the interoceptive sense, the problems with the vestibular and proprioceptive, and multiple areas of functioning. And that is not only reported as an adult, but that's also listed on my child records, where they talked about how the visual motor planning and problems coordinating and motor planning issues, and the problems with visual and auditory processing and spatial awareness and penmanship and stuff like that. So I have that physical proof to tie together the deficits in early childhood during early developmental period and as an adult with the same deficits. That is what makes it a lifelong impairment. That is what OPWDD had ignored. And they're not allowed to do that. They are. They got in trouble for it, but I'm not going back to New York State. Because I have everything I need here in Pennsylvania. I just have to wait patiently. So when I told my dad this stuff tonight, he didn't like hearing it. And I even explained to him I talked to a lawyer about this stuff and got him involved by sharing him emails with that my coordinators had been sending me back and forth. And that got things going, I think. And that's what the lawyer had told me. Because he said, he told me, it's not recommended for malpractice right now. The reason for that is I need services now. Malpractice is just going to delay me getting those services, and it's going to cause me, it's also going to make it harder for me to get those services. And it's not going to fix the problems that I'm having. And that's why he's not wanting to do the malpractice, even though that's what he does. But he's explained to my service coordinator with me in the email that, hey, you said that these things are not able to be done. He's told, and I know where it can be done, and because they told me, and then I shared that information with my attorney, and she basically said, I forward this request and forward the request for information, and it's up to them to process that information and go back to the county to start the transition over to the other waiver. Because I also found out more information about the emergency funds and how that works and how that can get me immediate funding. Because I have emergency funds, but the emergency funds now has to be updated that all these different agencies are not able to assist me in why. I hope you guys have a great day. I'm having a hard time in life, but as my dad claims and accuses me, I don't have anything I do for fun. I just worry about the problems I'm having, and that's not true, Dad. Because I play games, watch YouTube videos, I go on Facebook a lot, and I've been keeping very busy. Have a good one.